Hi guys, Scott again, and welcome back to another video. Now, before we get into it today, I'm just going to say thank you for tuning in to this and thank you for your continued support with my other videos. And don't forget to like, subscribe and comment and let me know what you think. But anyway, as you can see from the title of this video, I have bought a 25-year-old Volvo. Now, yeah, I'm going to show you the car today and just pretty much what it's about. So, here it is, my 25-year-old Volvo 850. Now it's a GLT model. It's a 1996 run. These ran from, I want to say, 1992 to 96, so it's the latest run of an 850 you can get. Now these come in both the saloon and estate versions, and I've got it in the saloon version. These cars, I couldn't tell you all the engines they're powered by, but this particular one that I've got is powered by a 2.5 litre inline 5. So this 2.5 litre inline 5 is the 10 valve model. Now they did come in a 20 valve, but this is only the 10. So it only makes, I say only, it makes about 144 horsepower and has around a top speed of about 130 mile an hour and makes around 190 pounds-feet of torque. Now, my particular one came with quite a nice spec as for a 1997 car. I didn't actually expect it. Alloy wheels all round. They are all missing the dust cap for some reason though, and there's a bit of damage on most of them. But 25-year-old car, it's done 180,000 miles in that time, and I wasn't expecting perfect at all. Other than that, the bodywork is pretty good nick. You've just got this sort of faded paint on the spoiler, and once again all the alloys are all a bit worse for wear around the edges, and dust caps are all missing. Now the main thing is it's missing a little bit of trim here. That's not the main thing, but the main thing that I need to get sorted is this little rust hiding sticker. And although at the moment it's not hiding it so well. I actually really like how this car looks for its time, and I think these sort of old Volvos are becoming a bit more sort of classic-y, sort of like, I really like the way they look, and I never would have said this when I was 17 or like 18, new car, I wanted a new thing. I never thought I'd buy a car which is the same age as me. Yeah, so made in 1997, and I was born in 1997, and I never thought I would own a car from that. Yeah, the styling just has grown on me over time, and I've never owned a car with more than 4 cylinders, which is a bit sad to say for someone who likes cars. I've driven them, but I've never owned one myself. So this being an inline 5, it's actually the biggest amount of cylinders in a car I've owned. And it's got that nice sort of like, once you take it above 4,000 revs, you get this nice sort of inline 5 roar. But it doesn't come from the exhaust, because although this looks meaty, it doesn't actually. It's all engine noise. Now this opens with the secondary catch being this weird little pull thing, whereas when like normal cars, they've always got a catch under there somewhere. So I was doing it and I was actually pulling the horn, which was quite bad. But it's got these cool little hydraulic struts to power it up. But all in, it's not in too bad nick. Like, it's got dates on it, and a lot of the parts were actually replaced. So like the timing chain or timing belt, I can't remember. Oh, it's a belt. The timing belt was replaced in 2017. So moving on to the inside of the cabin, it's got this sort of mid-90s retro styling. It's got so much carpet and everything. I never thought I'd see carpet like this in a car, but it literally looks like a rug. It's got these weird retro door handles and this sort of vinyl wood effect all around, which sort of, I don't know why, I just love it. It's really sort of retro eccentric. Rather annoyingly, all the controls, I say annoyingly, they're just not where you'd expect them to be. Like, it took me ages to work out that these are actually the controls the electric wing mirrors, like electrically adjusted wing mirrors. But saying that, for a 1997 car, I wouldn't expect it to have electrically adjusted heated wing mirrors, but it's got electric windows just at the front, it's got heated seats, it's got aircon, sort of dual zone aircon, I think this is. Rather coolly, the fuel gauge, I'm not sure how much you can see that, but it measures in, one side is one side's gallons and one side's litres. It's not like a normal one where it goes like quarter, half, 3/4 and full, which I thought was really weird. But it's sort of like these little Swedish quirks. And I've never actually owned a Volvo before, so it's a bit different. Yeah, it's just all a new experience for me. The speedo is quite cool, just how it's really central, and just whether it's quite a cool little setup. But the bit I like most is the how the odometer and the trip counts up. Like, obviously, because the trip counts up as points of miles, that counts up while you're driving, so you just get to see it tick over, and it's really cool and oddly satisfying watching it tick over. Yeah, little bits like that. I've only had it about a week, and I've done probably about 500 miles in it already, which I didn't expect to do, but for some reason, I just love driving it. It's got a tape deck. I never thought I'd have a car with a tape deck. Now, have you seen, obviously, the In-Betweeners when Simon gets his first car, and he's there like flipping out because it doesn't have a, well, because it has a tape deck in it. I just say, like, it's actually really cool. I'm actually really tempted to get some old school sort of tapes in it. So it's got the stereo. It's supposedly a premium sound system, but you're able to adjust the bass and obviously which speakers it's coming out by these cool little DJ-esque controls, so you feel like you're like mixing at the same time. Now, as I said earlier, it's the inline 5 10 valve, so it's not as powerful as the 20 valve one would have been. Obviously, being a manual, it's a bit slower then, so it only goes from like 0 to 60 in, I want to say it's 9.9 seconds, but that's not fast by any means. But I didn't buy this to be fast. I bought it for like many other reasons, which I'm not going to go into today. I haven't got enough time for that, but yeah, so it's not quick, but it makes a nice noise, as I said. When you take that 5-cylinder engine above sort of 3,500, 4,000, you just get this engine roar, whereas nowadays you get an augmented sort of exhausting. Even the Focus, when I'm driving it, I can hear most of the noise is coming from the big tips at the back, but this is all roaring engine trying to pull you. It's just a completely different type of driving. The suspension's nothing like it. Obviously, I wouldn't expect it to be, but it's nothing like the Focus at all. When I'm going around the corner, it's sort of like you're just leaning into it. Instead of being stiff and taking you around, you're just sort of like wallowing around a bit like a boat on a wave. Yeah, but all in, for the age of the car and how much I bought it for. So I bought it for, I'm not going to show it, I bought it for 1,200 quid. Probably a bit more than I should have paid for it, but there were quite a few reasons I wanted this specific car, which I'll tell you another time. But for the age, being a 25-year-old car, as I said, I know I've said that a lot, but 1990s, like this car was 1992 to 1997 run, and this is literally the latest model of it. I didn't expect like heated seats. I've had so many cars without heated seats. Even the Focus, obviously you can get them fitted, but it's so well spec'd for the time. It's got heated seats, it's got air conditioning, it's got this trip computer here. So obviously ignore all the lights that come on, but this little thing here, it tells you, obviously I'm getting 28.8 mpg, so it tells you mpg, your instantaneous mpg, miles to empty, how many miles you've done on the trip. Like, that's independent to that one. You can reset it on this little changeover for it. And it's got the time, it's got the outside temperature. Now, I've had cars where it has none of that stuff, and then this one, which is older and done more miles, well, the miles don't do it, but it's older and done more miles than anything I've ever owned, has more tech than some of the newer cars I've like had. So it just goes to show what you can, and like how, yeah. A bit like when you get an old Mercedes S-Class, or see some of them, they've got all these weird camera things that take a while to come into other cars. But I know these are probably common technology, but someone probably spent a lot of money on this when it first came out, just to get this sort of spec. And these seats, they're sort of half leather, the heated bit, I'm still trying to work out. I know the heat seat works because I've tried it and it turns on and it gets really hot, but I'm trying to work out where it comes from. But they're just, it's just like sitting on a sofa, like the feel of it with the size and the carpet. I feel like I'm in an armchair. I'm just driving along, like, whereas in the Focus I'm in the bucket seats and it's holding you in. So it's just really fun and comfortable to drive, just because it's a bit different. You don't see many of them out, and I've had more people talk to me about this than I have, like, in the week I've had it, than probably 3 months of owning the Focus. Because when you look at the Focus on the outside, everyone knows what it is, and they're sort of a bit more common these days. But I looked and Googled how many of these and this sort of trim are still on the road, and I want to say it's like about 150 are SORM'd and only 100 are MOT'd, this being one of them. Hopefully it makes it through it next, like its next MOT, but you can follow the journey and all that with me. By far, the coolest thing on this has to be like this little unassuming button here. Now, if I turn it on and I do this, you get this massive aerial come out the back, and then if I push the button down, it comes back down. How good is that? Like, the MR2 had one as well, but it was ignition based, and I just find it so cool that you can just put, it's so stupid and childish, but you can put the aerial up and down. Yeah, so here it is, my 25-year-old 850 GLT thing. Gonna see a lot more of this on the channel. I've got some plans for it, stuff I want to do. Obviously get that rust sorted to one of them. Yeah, so thank you for watching, thank you for joining me today. As I said at the start of the video, if you've made it this far, please think about subscribing, like, comment, ask me anything, and I hope to see you all in the next video. But for now, thanks for watching.